Alright, so you are the Faceless Void in this game, right?
Yes.
Okay, let me just check out your items really quick. So you're against the CM Night Stalker in the lane. I personally think you can get the stick because these two both cast spells on low cooldown basis. You can get the stick before upgrading to the race band or at the same time, but it's not a big deal.
I don't break them because I wanted to trade with
Just a stick. You don't have to upgrade to the
the
race
knights.
band. Just a stick, but the stick part is like necessary to come out early against these two. But overall, teams are fine.
I see.
One thing I'm noticing here is that at this point in the game that you have Midas and Maelstrom, you're 2-1-2. You should be on complete farm mode right now. Like you're supposed to avoid any interactions with enemy heroes. Maybe you just join and chrono and get out or something like that. But you're not supposed to like be fighting in this situation. So like I expect this 2-1-2 to remain relatively unchanged for quite some time till you get like your next set of items. And then I see like a bunch of kills and the sets happening. That's not good. That's something like we need to talk about. Around like 20 to 28 minutes ish till you get your BKB.
Yeah.
At this BKB point is the time. Okay, now you're still 2-1-2, but like you instead of 28, you get to it by 26 or something, and then you fight, and then you're gonna be useful. And this time you can fight, but like you shouldn't be looking for fights. Around this level 20 with the Mjolnir and level 20 talent is where you go looking for the fight. You're okay fighting with the just BKB, but
I see.
the time that you smoke and like you just leave instead of farming, you just go chase enemy. That's the time that like this is the time for it. And like the hope is that you reach to this level 20 with Mjolnir as fast as possible. So like if you can turn this 33 minutes timer into like let's say 28, 29, any faster the better. That's like okay, one item less on enemy. Like maybe 29. This guy has an upgrade like he doesn't have this, or maybe he has a shot at that time. Each of these guys will have like one less item in that 2 minutes. Like this guy doesn't finish his BKB yet. This guy doesn't have his Ganda first. You know what I mean? Like this guy doesn't have a blink yet. So if you get to that item timing at a better time, you have a better chance of winning the team fight. All right.
That's one of my biggest weakness. I always join the fights at the worst time.
So if you know that, why do you do it?
I feel pressured to do it.
Pressure from who? Teammates or yourself?
My team and blood dominating early.
Like your hero at the best case scenario operates at 140 second cooldown. Early game 160 second cooldown. Unless you have a shit ton of items, you cannot fight without chrono. So don't feel pressure. If somebody is like being toxic about it, just mute them fast.
Yeah, I mute my last week.
30 seconds.
Okay, we do. I'll keep these up.
Time to raise bloody hell.
We kind of got this bounty and then we let it go. That was a bit weird, but yeah, not a big deal. Not much you could have done about it.
Forget.
Although you were right, I should have fought when I had a lot of items.
We will talk about it once we
This
get
is
to
why
it.
I came back
We will talk about items once we
in
get
the
to
late
it.
game.
Let's get to it, then we talk about items. Because like unless we see the situation, it's not. We cannot buy the perfect item for the situation. You know what I mean? But one question: after killing this range creep here,
Do you want to get these items?
come again?
Can I tell you why I bought these items?
On the starting items, you mean?
No, my later items.
Okay, go ahead. Tell me if you want to say it now.
One, I noticed I did not kill them in chrono fast enough. So that's why I took the Idolus.
Oh, you mean in this part? Yeah.
And second, I took Satanic. I was, yeah, I was although I was hesitant because there was an AA.
I think these two items are okay. Like, I don't think it's bad, but like I have to see the game for itself to judge if this was the best item or not. Or maybe you could go for a butterfly. Maybe you could, like, instead of these two items, you could go for a butterfly disperser, for example. Disperser being your dispel and butterfly being your damage item. Also, they keep you alive in a sense that you dodging some spells. But it's not like, without seeing the game, I cannot tell you for sure what would be the best item. So let's like get to this and then we can talk about it. Okay?
Okay.
Right. So here's the first question. Right now, you deny this range creep, this guy denied this range creep. You can like remind your support that he's allowed to secure this. Most support players, they just don't because they don't want to steal CS, but this is a CS that you know you cannot get, so it's okay to like ping it and like tell this guy, okay, you can have the range creep if you can. But my question is, why do you killing this creep here? And what do you think you're supposed to do instead? No problem. So I will try to ask less question and try to ask like yes or no question or this or that question. And I will try to be more just teaching you. In this situation, when the lane is getting separated, enemy creeps, your creeps are going this way, you have the enemy creeps on you. The best thing you can do is to mirror the enemy movements. Okay? So what do I mean by that? We want these three creeps ideally to survive as long as these three creeps. Okay? So if enemy kill this one, you should kill this one. If enemy is just keeping all of them alive as much as possible, you should keep them all alive as much as possible. If enemy is going under tower and kill them super fast, you better either go under tower to kill them super fast or just kill them super fast as any way you can. The point is, our goal is to mirror the enemy movements. Yeah, if we do exactly as they do, the next wave, like this one and the one on enemy side around this location, they will meet exactly here again, which is the ideal location for us. So that's why we are mirroring enemy movement on this. With that said, in order to mirror enemy movements, you need to like look at them. Okay, so like I would be clicking away from the creeps a bit, and then I will move my camera on this Night Stalker, and then I go back to my hero, and then I decide, okay, should I CS or not? So you CS because this guy CS, all good. Now this guy keeping the creeps alive, he's not hitting them anymore. He's just keeping them alive to make a break point for his creep wave. You should do the same. Keep these two alive, keep moving, and by the time your creep wave arrive, try to like don't hit them and like let them survive for as long as possible. Now you do this. Now in order to keep them alive even longer, you can go here and aggro them to the side. Do you know how creep aggro works by detail? Give me a yes or no. Do you know how creep aggro works? Yes, cool. So you go here in 500 range of these creeps and A-click this guy and then press a stop and move backward. And these creeps will start running. What happened is that, first of all, your melee creep is not going to hit them because they have to chase after them. And these two will go down here. So by the time they die, your creep has to walk all the way back up. And that will buy time for your creeps. Keep in mind, you're supposed to do that when enemies doing that. If enemies just killing your creeps super fast, we want these to death by the time the next wave is arriving. Okay, we don't want enemy to contest us on this CS, and we don't want to create a big wave against us. If you keep them alive for too long, and enemy doesn't do that, what happens is that there will be a big enemy creep wave. They can dive us with that, or they can just pressure us like on the tower. Or if the lane goes on the tower will push it away, and that's not good for us anyway. So keep them alive for as long as they're keeping yours alive. You guys kill them a bit too fast, and notice, oh, enemy pool. Okay. You could keep them alive a bit longer and have an easier time. But anyway, it's your support job to like stop this pool from happening. You can remind him. I don't mind you having this on level 2. 1 point on time that is quite useless, and also it's like sometimes messy with the CSing, so it's fine. What you're doing? Notice how you're not full HP, you eat your last tango. It's best to bring 1 tango with your next item. So you not run out. Yeah, exactly. Nice. This spell takes very little mana. So if you found out enemy casting a spell on you, it's good to like time dilate them. It makes them so they cannot cast the spells on you for a longer duration. It also does a little bit of damage on them. Like, you could have just used this there. Like, if you did cast it the first time, you could have crossed you right then and there. You will be on cooldown for it. And need to keep back up.
What minute are you watching?
I'm sharing my screen, aren't I? Holy shit. I'm not sharing my screen.
For some reason.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
There we go.
Sorry. You should have. I mean, okay. Sorry. I go through all the.
I should have told Garrett.
Okay, I go back to the beginning of this because I didn't share my screen with you the whole time. Like, I shared the screen, but it goes off at some point. So I just go really fast. So I told you in this moment that the lane gets separated like this. You see my screen, right? Yeah. Yes. So when this happens, just mirror the enemy movements. Everything that we just talked about. So you keep these two alive for as long as enemy keeping these alive. That's like your job, and you can remind your support to block this camp or just stop enemy from pulling, if you can. That's it. The way you just walk into this creep wave and jungle camp, that was a bit reckless. Notice how you're almost full HP, and suddenly after this walking into their face, suddenly you're like, okay, you have like half HP. Like this is like too much damage you just do. What happened there is you aggro the jungle camp and the creeps to yourself. So times like this, best you can do is to cut this tree with a column blade. And then don't aggro them. If you aggroing them, just don't let them hit you. Just aggro them away from each other and then fight them. Alright, so this is the time I'm telling you, okay, you have only 1 tangle left. You need to buy a tangle with this magic stick that you did. This is the time I'm telling you, you need to like time dilate this Crystal Maiden, otherwise you're gonna, like he's gonna cast more spells on you. Also against Crystal Maiden, it's good to consider buying a salve. Your support can share tango with you in a more probably friendly environment, but if like this guy is in your party or something. But for yourself, if he shares a salve, it's gonna be half value, so you can buy the salve yourself. Okay, So I need to like teach you something about creep aggro here. Right now you're you're super low HP, like even below half, like 1/4 HP. Times like this, you cannot interact with enemy heroes, if you get what I mean, right? So the best you can do is to like aggro the creeps away from the enemy, and CS them in a place that they cannot really touch you. Okay, they have to put themselves out of position to touch you, to hit you or anything. So times like this, just creep aggro. Like you're here in the aggro range, just aggro these two creep that you want to CS into the tower and CS them. The faster you do that, the better. Also, remember, enemy has a Bloodseeker, so it's important to like stay at almost full HP in order to not make him powerful. Yep, this time you did it. Oh, good.
Not so fast.
So, there is two types of laning with Faceless Void. Sometimes you max the time lock, sometimes you max out the time walk. It's based on the enemy damage type and how much aggressive you can be. As you notice by now, you barely ever hit them in this lane because their heroes are naturally a bit powerful in the laning phase. You just couldn't hit them. So having more points on the time lock doesn't really help as much. But giving more points on the time walk reduce the cooldown, which allows you to not get nuked as often. And it's a significant amount of reduction. It's 6 seconds. So if you have like 2 points or even 3 points on this by level 5, it would like make it so it's really hard to kill you or try to catch you for this Crystal Maiden especially. Like he wants to like frostbite you, and like if you have time walk, every time he does it, he just doesn't do any damage. So this is the lane that you're supposed to max out the time walk instead. So I'm not sure how often this happens to you, that the enemy is constantly pulling this big camp. If this is something that constantly happening to you, it's totally worth it to buy yourself a sentry and just block it. If your support is not doing his job, and like the enemy is constantly doing this, just buy one sentry and block this camp yourself. It might get devoted or something, but at least even if it prevents like 2 wave from getting pulled into the camp, that's still worth it. Totally worth it. 50 gold for like preventing 2 pulls like this. So keep that in mind. Like this is like some of the matchups when you're not in favor. Like you're not in favor against the nice doctor CM. You cannot fight them back, as you notice right now. It's best to like block his camp anyhow possible. If your support is not doing his job, part of that you're supposed to do it yourself.
Jack thinks Radiant's King Towers
Oh, finally, back. Okay. It took a bit too much time to put down an item, but it's fine. You can like, just put it on the backpack and put it up right away, and then use your stat. Good job at least putting down your stat items before using it.
scared of
Many
Radiant's
people don't do that in your bracket. Okay. So the fact that you coming to farm this camp, it's a right thing to do. Now you need to like do it at a slightly better. Let me explain. So at this point, if you beeline it to the camp, you can pull the camp and then use the protection of the creeps to farm that faster and safer without losing any HP. And also, by the time you finish this camp, there is a good chance that enemy pushes back into your tower. Like by that time, most probably the creeps are quite close to your tower and you can farm them safely. Because you go back up for this one creep, you're losing some HP on this camp and the next wave goes way higher up. You see that? So this one creep usually doesn't worth it. So just go and pull the small cap yourself right now. And it's based on the time. Usually at minute and 10, like let's say any number here, 10 or 40 is the best time to start moving from the lane towards the can. And you will be on time for the pool.
Radiant's top tower is under
If you had boots or any mobility spell, maybe you could get there faster. Yeah. Like the same farm would happen, but now the lane would be down here instead of up there.
A gift from the goddess. Wings.
Dire just for
Oh, too early for the chrono.
Fear quiets magic.
Okay, so let me ask this question. Why did you chrono too early? Like, why didn't you wait for like this guy's stun to be finished and then you chrono? How many games of Faceless do you have? 28. Okay, so that's not a high number. See that? Yeah. That's not a high number. But you can. So it's normal to like get excited, like get emotional about like doing things. But know this. Times like this, like when you're trying to be aggressive and your hero is still like quite weak, it's important to push the limits. Okay. So if you can stay cool and like let this whole stun duration goes through and then chrono the guy and try to like chrono up there slightly more up, so this guy can like easily hit without getting chronoed or something, or anyone up there like have a harder time helping, it would be a much better reaction. It's a thing that like comes with experience. Well, once you have enough games, you will feel more natural in this situation, and like these mistakes will not happen as often.
Fear quiets magic. Listen for the wings of the night.
Yeah, you gotta die for this. Yeah.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Darkness. Missiles your waist.
Yeah, just don't get panicked with the chronosphere. Faceless is a hero that works with the patience. You need to like be very patient when it comes with the Faceless Word.
Calls to
Killing spree.
Yep, cannot do anything here.
Killing spree. Is Dire going to make that middle tower full?
Yeah, I get it. Okay, so this is something I was waiting for you to die in the lane